Spider-Man Brand New Day has added Jon Bernthal to the cast as Frank Castle, the Punisher. What does this mean for Spider-Man Brand New Day, the Punisher special presentation, and Daredevil Born Again Season 2? That is exactly what we'll be talking about in today's video. Now, whenever there is a rumor or report that Spider-Man Brand New Day gets a new cast member added to the film, I'm pretty skeptical. This is why we haven't made a video about Mark Ruffalo being added to the cast, because I just don't believe it yet. A reputable source has not covered that information quite yet, but today's news has been covered by Deadline, who is an extremely reliable source. With the title of the movie being Brand New Day, we have an idea of what to expect in the movie, and there was a lot of speculation in the lead up of whether or not this would be a multiverse movie. Previously, it was to come out in between Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars, but with both movies being delayed, this one will come out a couple of months beforehand, making me think that they are all in on making this a completely street-level Spider-Man movie, something we haven't gotten since Spider-Man Homecoming. With the casting of Sadie Sink a few months ago, it seems like every Marvel scooper is trying to imply that she's playing some different, very exciting character. We've seen everything from a multiverse variant of Mary Jane Watson, or as some have called her, the true Mary Jane, which is just ridiculous. We already have MJ in this universe, we don't need a separate Mary Jane character. Or other sources saying that she'll be playing Jean Grey. But given today's recent news, the plotline of Daredevil Born Again, and today's casting of Jon Bernthal as the Punisher in Spider-Man Brand New Day, I feel pretty confident in saying that I'm pretty sure Sadie Sink will be playing Jackpot. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the Brand New Day comic run, it's set a little bit after the Civil War storyline, so the Superhero Registration Act is still in full effect. The Superhero Registration Act is completely different in the comics compared to what we saw in Captain America Civil War, and an important part of the act is the fact that superheroes need to unmask themselves. Initially, Spider-Man is on Team Iron Man in the comic, so in accordance with the act, he unmasks himself publicly. This of course does not end well for Peter Parker. Aunt May ends up in the hospital, and he ends up making a deal with Mephisto to make everybody forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, similar to what we saw in Spider-Man No Way Home, and in return he needs to sacrifice his marriage with Mary Jane. This storyline kind of acted as a hard reset to Spider-Man in the comics at that point, making Peter Parker single once again and having to move back in with Aunt May. And because everybody did forget his identity, Spider-Man is illegally fighting crime in New York City. He tries to limit his crime fighting early on in the story, but pretty much immediately abandons that idea. A new hero named Jackpot is introduced as a state-sanctioned superhero, and given the fact that her name is an homage to Mary Jane Watson's iconic line, "Face it, tiger, you've hit the jackpot," and her appearance while wearing a mask led many to believe that this was Mary Jane now fighting crime. Even Peter at one point directly asks her if she is Mary Jane. So it's hard to believe that Sadie Sink isn't playing this character. In the MCU, we've never had MJ use that line, and Sadie Sink looks nothing like Zendaya, so I feel like they are going to do something a little bit different with this character in the movie. A big part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and specifically the street-level storyline for New York City right now, is that the current mayor of the city, Wilson Fisk the Kingpin, has cracked down hard on the vigilantes in New York City, and in Season 1 of Daredevil Born Again specifically alludes to Spider-Man. Now, we've been wanting to see Kingpin go up against Spider-Man for years, and D'Onofrio said a couple of months ago that there's a rights issue that's preventing them from being able to do that in a movie, and we know that Spider-Man can't be used in any long-form live-action TV media for Disney+. Sony currently has the live-action TV rights for the character, which is why we won't be seeing Spider-Man appearing in Daredevil Born Again Season 2. But a couple of months ago, I explained how the storyline that is happening in Daredevil Born Again currently could be wrapped up in Spider-Man Brand New Day. And with the Punisher now being a part of Brand New Day, I feel like that possibility is even more likely. Instead of Brand New Day adapting directly the Superhero Registration Act, we have Fisk's vigilante crackdown, which is something that's been very popular on social media with the release of Thunderbolts and Born Again, is people questioning where exactly is Spider-Man during all of this. These are situations that would directly affect him, and it seems like Brand New Day is really going to focus on answering those questions. questions. But let's talk about how all of these different projects are going to work together. It seems like in the lead up to Doomsday, 2026 is going to be primarily focused on street-level characters if we're looking to Disney Plus and Spider-Man Brand New Day. We only have that movie and Doomsday releasing the entire year. We are also supposed to be seeing Vision Quest in 2026 as that started filming a couple months ago. But as far as the street-level projects go, we are going to have March as the start of Born Again Season 2 and Spider-Man Brand New Day releasing in July. But we also have that standalone Punisher special that will release sometime in 2026. The question we need to be asking right now is, when will we see it? Will it be our lead-in to Daredevil Born Again Season 2? Will it bridge the gap between Born Again Season 2 and Brand New Day? Or will it serve as an epilogue to Brand New Day? Only time will tell, but we know for a fact that Born Again Season 2 will be focusing on Daredevil assembling all of the street-level Marvel characters that we met on Netflix. So far, the only other character that we know is confirmed to show up in Season 2 is Kristen Ritter's Jessica Jones. But we do know that both the actors attached to Iron Fist and Luke Cage have expressed interest in returning to those characters. My question is, does the addition of Frank Castle mean that we will be seeing Charlie Cox as Daredevil or Kristen Ritter as Jessica Jones in Brand New Day as well? Peter Parker has interacted with Matt Murdock in the MCU before, but due to Doctor Strange's spell, Matt Murdock would have no recollection of that interaction. I know a lot of people are curious what such a mature character like the Punisher will be doing in a movie with a very wide appeal to both kids and adults, like Spider-Man Brand New Day. But I should remind people, Punisher debuted in Spider-Man. This is a character who has interacted with Spider-Man in the comics many times before, and when the Punisher shows up in a comic that's aimed at all ages, typically he's no different, but they're not going to show any kind of gore or anything like that. The way they'll make the Punisher work in an all ages storyline is definitely going to be very similar to how they would do it in the comics or even in any kind of animated show we've seen the Punisher appear in. But a big aspect of the Punisher in Marvel Comics is that other heroes really don't like this guy. Anytime an Avengers level character or even Daredevil really have to work with the Punisher, it's mostly out of desperation. I mean, the Punisher is an absolute lunatic. They're not going to be neutering the Punisher. It'll be similar to Wolverine in the PG-13 X-Men movies. He'll have the exact same characterization, so it blends between the two projects seamlessly, but we're probably not going to see him machine gun an entire room full of people. That's what a project like Daredevil Born Again Season 2 or even that special presentation are made for. But I think that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts about Punisher joining Spider-Man Brand New Day down in the comments below. Let me know your speculation and your theories for how this will affect Daredevil Born Again Season 2 and that Punisher special presentation, and I will see you in the next video.